Our target audience was teenagers, specifically male teenagers, and we found that out by the Google Doc surveys, and we asked a lot of questions, and most of them seemed to be male that wanted to watch a horror film, and but we aimed our film at teenagers anyway. It doesn't have to specifically be males, but it could be, because the main character is male, and more males would identify with that character than a female, I guess. And because the teenagers, we used young actors. It was filmed in college mostly because we can't go actually film in a mental hospital, but I guess because the audience is teenagers, they would see the college and kind of relate to that
Yeah.
in a certain way.
I think that we attracted our audience through our use of the supernatural genre that we used. It's quite popular, it seems to be quite popular, and an example would be Paranormal Activity, which seems to be quite popular with teenagers, making a lot of money just off a small budget, which is pretty good.
I think if we look at some of the key scenes in our film, such as when he sees his mum in the mirror, I mean, I think we all have that fear when you look in the mirror and you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, well, obviously you don't go looking in the mirror like, oh God, there's going to be someone there. But it's a realistic, irrational fear that everyone has. And then the main character also has flashbacks of what he did to his mum, which is, a dark scene. It's in black and white to represent being a flashback.
People seem to like dark scenes in horror movies.
Yeah.
That's kind of what makes a horror movie. At least one dark scene, I guess.
Yeah. Where he's bashing his mum's head off a table.
Yeah, which is quite grim.
I think we've learnt from constructing our product about the technologies is more about how to use Final Cut, like adding sound effects, using colour correction, like when in the flashback scene it's in black and white to represent being a flashback.
Yeah.
In our prelim task we wouldn't have done that, even though there's no flashback. I think we wouldn't have done that, but in our short film it's more it transitions better because it's in black and white.
Yeah.
Um
Another program we used was LiveType, and it was specifically to make opening credits, which just flashes up the name of our film at the start. And I feel that we kind of took a bit from Insidious because the text is quite similar, that it's like really bold
and
red.
jagged.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about the camera shots, such as the close-ups to the face to show that they're scared or their emotion on the actor.
Yeah, the camera shots. Using the camera was quite easy after we done the prelim task.
Mm-hmm.
It made us know more about the camera. We practiced shots outside of lessons and in lessons, so it made it easier for us to kind of incorporate shots into our final product. And using Final Cut as well, we also added sound effects to make it more of a horror film, really, because without sound effects it was quite boring, just normal, really.
Yeah, when there's like a jump scare,
Yeah,
there's like a loud sound,
yeah.
so stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back at the prelim task, which was the night before, we did that when did we do that?
I don't know.
Well, we did that a long time ago. We didn't really plan much for that one. It was more like we'd written stuff down for a storyboard, the general idea,
Yeah.
and then we went and filmed it. And what worked, and what didn't, we just left out.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've now done Instability for our actual horror short film,
Mm-hmm.
and the process of making that was a lot more complicated.
Yeah, we had more planning, the treatment, storyboard,
Yeah, and
getting the cast.
yeah, we casted people, which was different instead of acting it out ourselves.
Yeah,
I suppose the story's more complex.
it is.
How so?
Just, it's longer for a start.
It is
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
1 minute longer.
Actually, when we filmed the whole thing, it was a lot longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah,
We,
after editing it down.
yeah.
But what we've learned from the progression up to the final project is that it's a lot. It takes a lot more planning than the prelim task.
A lot of the original things that you plan just don't work out.
Yeah.
Because we cut a lot of things out of the story, such as the mother, who was Zoe, played by Zoe, having this backstory, no room for that to be in.
Yeah.
So obviously, because of the 2 minutes time limit, our story was a lot shortened down, which I feel like made it.
Even with the extra minute, it's quite hard to get everything in.
Yeah, because we only had a minute for the prelim task.
Yeah.
But even for the 2 minutes, I feel like our story was too ambitious for what we were doing.
Yeah, you're right.
So when we were trying to make the story and film it, it was too long. And then when we were cutting it down, a lot of things didn't make sense. So I think that's why our Instability short film could have been a lot better.